Hello and welcome to Wins and Lessons. This is a new podcast about the fears, failures, and fun of being a dad. And we get to talk about how as dads we win some and we learn some.
Yeah, I'm Nathan, and I'm here with a friend and a fellow father, Nathan.
Yeah, two Nathans.
Two Nathans.
On an audio platform.
Yeah.
Hopefully we sound different enough to make it work.
Yeah, and we're just doing this podcast. It was just an idea we had one time. We were on a road trip out to Tahoe when we were back, and we were talking about just like fatherhood. We both have kids that are sort of in the same age, and we were just kind of thinking about, I was asking them some questions really, and just being like, hey, what do you do here, and how do you do this, and maybe another, maybe frustrations as part of fatherhood. And I think I think both of us just want to be good dads. And so we bounce stuff off each other all the time. And we thought to ourselves, hey, maybe there's other people out there like us who could use a little advice and on fatherhood. And so that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've valued in our friendship and kind of our journey of being a dad, I guess, is realizing I'm not alone. When we get together, we hang out, have lunch, whatever we're doing, talking through a current situation as a dad. I don't know how many times we've texted with each other or talked with each other in person where it's like, were you in my living room this week? Because I had the exact same interaction, or I had the exact same conversation, or my kid did that too. And I think as dads, sometimes we feel lonely. It's easy to feel lonely and easy to feel like I'm just a horrible dad. And so there can be some comfort in, one, knowing you're not alone, but also gleaning from others' experiences to try and do better.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing too, I think that sort of stuck out to me as to wanting to do this is, just learning about the importance of like a good father in the house, right? Yeah. And the way that having a good dad in the house, and I'll even say like a Christ-like dad in the house, right? Yeah. The impact that has on our kids. And, we want to raise good kids. We want to raise Christ-like kids. And so I think it's just so important for us to sort of like, I think the imperative on me is, and me and Nathan is to be, hey, we want to be good dads because we want to raise good kids. And so maybe we can like, let's talk about this.
Yeah. Scriptures speaks often about seeking counsel, seeking wisdom, heeding those things. And so that can happen just in your current circles or when needed, but we want to get ahead of it a little bit and sit with other dads who have done it. Maybe they're in different, what would you say, like different stages of the journey of raising kids and stuff. And so sit with dads who have done it. I don't think you ever stop being a dad, but dads who have raised children who are adults and have kids of their own, dads who are in the middle of it, maybe like Nathan and I, and dads who have yet to do it. Yeah. Like sit with some people who are about to be a dad, in weeks or months to come.
Yeah. So our process here is sort of a little bit like, we sit with different dads in different stages of our life, and we really just kind of like have conversations and pick their brains and learn a little bit. And we'd like to talk to them about, their childhood, their fathers, what their childhood was like, what their fatherhood is like, what their kids are like now, and sort of any advice they could give us. And it's, our hope is to just glean information and let other people know who are listening that, hey, we're all in this together and you guys are doing a good job. One thing that I think I struggle with a little bit is just being a little bit negative on myself. And so one thing I've really appreciated, especially talking to you, Nathan, is that we sometimes struggle with the same things. And it gives me encouragement that, hey, you know what? Like, I'm actually doing okay. This is actually going okay. So
I agree.
Yeah, I think with that, maybe we'll just introduce ourselves a little bit quickly.
Sure.
So I'm going to kick it over to Nathan here. Nathan, tell me a little bit about your upbringing. What was your dad like? And talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. My dad was a great dad, is a great dad. I'm one of three kids, the oldest of three. My dad speaks fairly often and publicly about the firstborn being the first pancake You know that like you're making pancakes and you're trying to figure out, is the griddle hot enough? Is it too cold? Is this going to work? Is it baking all the way through? And
so is the first pancake, is that the best one or is that a throwaway?
Some might argue it's a throwaway. I think he might have said that publicly before. But I know that I believe that he loves me and cares for me. That's maybe a conversation for my therapist. But I was the firstborn, and as we all know as dads, you're not really given a manual, like even in the hospital before they go home, and so they're trying to figure out a lot of different things. With that said, I think both my parents were great parents. My dad loves me, cares for me. I've learned a lot, actually. This is a thing that you and I talk about, Nathan, that almost scares us, but it's also a great responsibility. I feel like I've learned a lot about the character of God by watching the man and the woman that my parents are. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just kind of naturally been easy for me to understand the character of God as I study Scripture because of who they are. Mm-hmm. So I was first of three. Dad was great, loves Jesus immensely, very, very much kingdom mindset, big picture. And now I'm a dad of four. There are differences. There's great things that I've gleaned being raised in the household that I was, but there are differences in that. Like, my parents had kids, nearly a decade before I started having kids as far as age range. Yeah. And so I think there are differences. I can't imagine, like, I think we've talked about this before, but I think the older I get, the more grace I have for both of my parents, kind of trying to put myself in their shoes, 30 years ago or whatever, trying to raise kids and do these things. And in not only the ages they were at, but the stages of life and what they were doing in their vocation and everything. Like, I have so much grace to give, and I can't even imagine. I think this is not to speak to my parents' level of maturity, but my own maturity. I can't imagine raising kids as a younger self. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah, if I started having kids like a decade before my wife and I started having, I can't imagine. Like, I think I'd screw my kids.
Well, I think when we're kids, like, we think that our parents have it all figured out.
Yeah, we think they're professionals.
And when we're kids, like, our parents are, maybe in their 30s, right? Which we think at the time is like, oh my gosh, they're in their 30s. Yeah. They're professionals.
My parents were in their 20s.
They're 20s. So they're just honestly, they're just almost kids themselves trying to figure it out. And so when you're a parent, then you're like, oh my gosh, like, did they feel as lost as I did? And then you look back and they're like, oh my gosh, they're probably 10 years younger than I am. Like, right. It's crazy, right? And it does give you a lot of grace.
Yeah. What about you? What about you? And I have a relationship with my dad today. Yeah. So.
You know what? I was one of five. I was the oldest boy. My relationship, my dad came from a very tough background, and his dad was tough on him. So my dad was a Christian. I was raised in the church. My dad was just what I would say maybe very stoic, not emotionally really like open with me. I think he did the best he could, I suppose. But like, we didn't really have a relationship per se. So we didn't really, there was no intimacy there, I think, with my dad. But he was a good dad. He provided for us. He built a foundation, a biblical foundation in my life. I think he did the best he could, and I agree with you. So I grew up and I had a lot of anger at my dad because I think I had hoped my dad would do a lot of things that he didn't do. I wanted an intimate relationship. I wanted a friend. I wanted a father who would guide me and lead me and give me advice and encourage me. And I didn't get all those things. I got a practical dad who provided and was there. Yeah. And gave me a biblical foundation, but I think I didn't see a lot of love. Well, I know I didn't see a lot of love. And so I got really angry with my dad early on and like became very rebellious, and it led into I held on to that for a lot of my life. So with my dad now, I have a decent relationship, but I think my dad in a lot of ways he's matured a little bit, but he's still he's not really a very open guy. And like, I don't blame him too much anymore because he was raised with a dad that probably, my dad's dad probably never told him he loved him one time in his life. So I get that. So my dad's a broken guy. And so now being older, like you said, I have a lot of grace for him because I can look back and say, man, it hurts me that my dad never told me he loved me, but it must also hurt him that his dad never told him he hurt him. So in a weird way, we kind of share the same sort of pain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so in a weird kind of way, I have a lot of grace for him. And also, I'm one of 5. My parents got married young too. And I remember when I was like maybe 30, early 30s, I'm 43 now, or my early 30s, I had 2 kids and was just, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I looked at, and I remember, I thought, oh my gosh, my dad, when he was this age, he had like 4 kids, you know?
Yeah.
And he didn't have nearly the resources that I had. And I had a lot of grace for him. I was like, oh my gosh, like how did he do it? I always thought my dad was a complete, perfect Christian man.
Yeah.
And now I was able to look back on it and have a lot of grace for him. And so while my relationship with my father was not perfect, and he wasn't the perfect dad that I wanted, I think where I'm at now is that I can see the good that he gave me, and I have a lot of love and a lot of like respect for him in what he did.
What's one thing maybe that you have taken and duplicated or replicated, in the win column that you experience as a son, that you are now doing, or it's kind of shaped the way you're a dad now?
Yeah, the one thing I think I really picked up from my dad is the importance of really instilling a biblical foundation in your kids.
Yeah.
Now, the way that you do that varies, but I think if you instill a biblical, for me at least, listen, I had church pounded into me. I mean, pounded into me to the point where when I was 15, I walked away and I didn't think about God for another 10 years because I had been beaten over the head with it, right? And so while that's not the way that I would prefer be done, it still did instill a Christian foundation in me, and I came back to the Lord because I had that foundation. So one thing that I do is I don't beat my kids over the head with the Bible, but I do take away the importance of train up a child in the way they should go. When they're older, they won't depart from it. So what about you? Like what's one thing that you've really taken away that your dad did that you kind of use today?
Yeah, I think one thing that's valuable, given the fact that like my dad and I are similar in the sense of being dads while working in the same vocation. There's a lot of things that I can learn from him as we're both pastors. And one thing that he did when we were kids was he really valued being present at as many of our games and different things that we were doing as possible, trying to coach wherever he can. And I think that was a great model and like a great path laid for me to kind of walk in, so that now as a dad myself, like I want to be and I genuinely like it. It's not just like a discipline or practice I'm trying to exercise as a dad, but man, I want to be at all the practices. I want to be at all the games. I want to, like, if I can, where I can adjust schedule appropriately to be there, I want to be there. And so that's been a huge value.
What's like something that maybe you've done a little different?
In the same vein of like my dad working hard to be at everything that he could be at and coach whatever he could, I've worked hard. These are like silly memories. I don't even know how often it happened, but there are times where like I can recall, I have like vague memory of my dad coming home from work and probably being crazy exhausted emotionally, physically, spiritually, and me just wanting to play catch, but he was like too tired.
Yeah.
Which he gets the right to be tired.
Yeah.
And especially now as I kind of like piece together stories of things that were going on in his life or in the church and whatever at that time. I can't even, I probably would have responded the same way he did. It wasn't mean. It was just like, no, buddy, I'm sorry. I'm just like too tired to be able to do that right now. Yeah. So for whatever reason, that stuck out to me. And so I work very hard to try and say yes as much as I can to playing catch, playing house, school, whatever the kids, the boys or my daughter are asking me to do. I really want to look back and say, man, I said yes to as much as I could about the playtime type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What about you?
I think like the thing that I'm doing different than my dad was I'm just super, super intimate with my kids in like a touchy feely sort of affectionate way.
Yeah.
I snuggle with my kids. I hug my kids. I kiss my kids. Like I encourage my kids. My thing is I'm gonna let my kids know that they're the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
And so like I just, I do that to them. And listen, there's a lot of things like I probably don't do that my dad did better than I do, but in this particular one, it's like I just want them to always know that I'm proud of them, and I just encourage them.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I think this is like this is what we want to do in these conversations that we have. We've titled this Wins and Lessons, because I think in many areas we can look at the things that we do or others have done or our own families and situations as great losses. Mm-hmm. And sure, but I want to make those worth something. Like I want to learn from the areas of our lives that we feel like we are losing in. And I want to make it valuable and kind of repurpose that, for God's glory. And so in many, that's kind of why I think we've titled this Wins and Lessons, is because we can learn. I hope this comes out right. We can learn from the losses of others. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's not, I don't mean that in a super capitalist type of way. Let's push the other guy down so we can gain more ground. But I think as we sit with these dads, they're willing to share with us, hey, here's some areas where I think I kind of maybe blew it as a dad that I got to correct, or I didn't get to correct and I didn't get to fix. And maybe this could be a valuable lesson for you that you can avoid that loss.
Yeah. And none of us are going to be perfect.
No.
But, and we're not even trying to be perfect, but I think we just want to let all the other fathers out there know, whether you're a new dad or a dad who's already has his kids out of the house, it's never too late.
Yeah.
Just try to improve. And we're always just trying to improve. We're not going to be perfect, but let's try to keep moving in the right direction and learn from each other and encourage each other. And I think that's kind of where we're at, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you and I think being a dad is fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's the best.
And I think with that, we kind of started the episode off talking about it, but there are some failures. There are some ways in which we fall flat on our face, and we've got to humbly ask God for forgiveness, go back to our kids for forgiveness. But we want to encourage dads that you're not alone. We're going to do this together. Don't be too scared, and let's move forward. So yeah, man, I love it. I'm excited for the interviews we got ahead. There's going to be some topics, probably some interviews that will speak directly to everyone's current situation. And then I would encourage us all to listen through even the things that are like, I don't know if I'm dealing with that or if that's an issue or whatever, but listen through. You never know what the Holy Spirit might speak to you that you will shelf for a minute, and then God will use that to help you in a future situation. So,
yep.
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
Yeah, we're excited.
Let's do it.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, man.
See you.
Yesterday is over and the future has come.